When you hear Mugabe in African politics, it refers to someone who has been in power for a long time and possibly not interested in leaving, or maybe is simply not leaving. We had a Mugabe in our politics. Since '92, one man has been on almost all ballot papers until 2008. His name, Edward Nasegri Mahama. Then a young man arrived in Ghana and said he was going to remove Edward Nasegri Mahama as Flagbearer of PNC. At first, people didn't believe him, but they went to Congress and he emerged victorious. In subsequent years, he formed his own party and has run election for 3 times, at least for now. He's my guest on Face to Face. My name is Umaru Sandamado. If you've not got a clue, I'm going to introduce him after this break. My guest on Face to Face today is Honorable Hassan Ayariga. He is the leader of the APC. He's a flag bearer and he has been cleared by the Electoral Commission, so he's also the presidential candidate. And he's on the ballot paper preparing and telling Ghanaians to vote for him. Sir, you're welcome to Face to Face.
Thank you, my brother.
How
long
are
time.
You? It's been a long time.
Yes. You're looking good.
I remember like yesterday when you first came on the pod. I remember we interviewed Shamima at the time.
Yes.
I brought you in the studio. It was just like yesterday. That was 2011?
2012.
2012. That was when you decided. No, I mean when you were going for the PNC Congress.
2011.
11.
Yes.
And then it wasn't Sunyani, or where did you go to win?
It was yes, Sunyani.
Sunyani.
Yes.
See, I remember.
Yes, very well. You still have that.
It's more than 10 years now.
12 years now.
Wow. How has Ghana politics been treating you? Because prior to then, you were not in our political space. You were abroad, weren't you?
Yes.
So how has our political space treated you so far?
It's a learning process. You have to be smart to be able to cope with Ghanaian politics. And you have to be a different leader in order to be able to stay in the race. Because the race has been very tough. It's been NDC, MPP, NDC and MPP. And the politicking has been confusing because it's been a lot of deceit, a lot of promises, a lot of, propaganda. Unless you get into the race, you won't know the truth, the in and out of Ghanaian politics. And you know the dynamics. Coming from Europe at the age of 39, going into the Ghanaian politics, I came with a different concept, a different mindset, a different attitude. Now being in it will teach you something different. So over the years, I've learned very fast. Very, very, very fast in order to be where I am here today. And to be able to come out with the kind of policies I'm thinking of changing the Ghanaian society and the Ghanaian economy and governance as a whole.
Even though our country is a multi-party,
democracy,
there are 2 major parties in the country. So when you came, why did you decide to join a smaller party and not the 2? Already your brother is in one of them.
Yes.
Mahama Ayariga is your brother.
Mahama Ayariga is my brother.
Junior brother.
Younger
for
brother.
purpose of correction, right?
Yes.
And he's in the NDC. When you came back to Ghana and you were looking for a party to join, why didn't you join NDC or MPP? Why did you decide to join a smaller party? And even when you left that party, you didn't join any of the 2 big parties like Freddie Blade did when he left CPP to join MPP and became chairman. You created your own party, and it's like it's difficult for you to climb up there if you're in a small party, don't you think so?
First of all, the reason why I didn't join the NDC or the MPP is that I was born in the Nkrumah's tradition, Moro Igala Komoro tradition. My father was the first MP for the Boku Central.
Oh, really?
So my father was a politician. So I was born in a political family. So looking at the tradition, there's no way I would go and join NDC, because it was NDC under the regime of Flight Lieutenant J.J. Rawlings that removed PMP, and we had to go into exile. So my father being a member of PMP at that time, a member of PMP, after the exile, we had to run and live in Nigeria. So I don't see the reason of coming back to join a party that took me out of this country based on propaganda and not based on probity and accountability. Because that was the reason why the Imam was overthrown.
So for you, it's a personal thing. It's personal.
Number one is personal. Number 2 is the philosophy of both political parties. you need to have a reason to join a party. One is that the NDC believe in the socialist political forum. MPP believe in the capitalist political forum. Looking at the two and the dynamics, I don't see me joining any of them.
But people think that Nkrumahs have largely become NDC because when CPP was banned, all the Nkrumahs elements found a way of coming together under the National Democratic Congress in '92. So you see a lot of CPP people who have, even PMP people who have ended up joining Rawlings to form the NDC or PNDC. Your brother, of course, would have also joined. If he also felt strongly, he joined NDC. Why was it so difficult for you not to join NDC? And I'm sure I'll not even ask you about MPP because that's like a different political ideology.
First of all, is the fact that they had a coup to remove PMP that was in government and didn't have a good reason for doing that and just have to use a coup d'etat to take them out. Now, looking at the ideology, the Rawlings, 1979, the PNDC and all that, I didn't find any reason being in that party because they could not convince me besides being a political party to say, oh, Ayariga, my brother was not convinced. My brother was convinced using the ideology of my father. They now went to Boku and they were looking for a candidate to beat Madam Hawa. And they look around the families and they say, which family could be the best to be able to beat Madam Hawa? Which family has a history?
Hawa Yakubu, Ogede.
Yeah, Ogede, you remember, the Iron Lady. So they were looking for somebody who has a good history, a good family background to be able to defeat Hawa Yakubu. And the only house they found at that time was my family house, the Ayariga's house, because that was a party that had a tradition. There was a family that had some credibility to be able. So they approached the family and wanted somebody from the family. So they got Hassan Ayariga.
And that's how they chose him?
Yes.
So it's a convenience kind of
thing? Yes, so the family, the party in NDC at that time said, oh, I mean, let's go to the Ayariga's family. So all the big wins in the NDC in Boku decided to pick somebody who has credibility. And that person was my father, my late father. So they said, no, let's pick somebody from that family. So they went in for Hassan Ayariga. So Hassan Ayariga was not an NDC man. He was also born in the Moro Igalo family, and they took him. So the elders were able to convince him, convince the family to allow him to go and contest.
They say the end justifies the means. The end for you is to win political power. If the means of getting political power is joining NDC or MPP, it shouldn't have been a problem for you because creating a new party or going on a smaller party's ticket is a long shot, isn't it?
It's a long shot with the different mindset. What are political parties meant for? What are the ideologies of political parties? What are the policies of the political parties? Will we say that we have fallen parties because they can win election, or they are fallen parties because they have a better concept, a better policy that can change Ghana? Because of these two dominant political parties, they have a platform. Now, people are not following parties because of policies anymore. They are following parties because of the platform, the possibility of winning an election. So Ghanaians who are enlightened will not like to follow NDC or MPP. The reason why you see huge voter apathy over the years. But you know, whether you like it or not, they are foot soldiers. Whether you like it or not, they are die-hard political party members. Whether you like it or not, they are opportunists, business opportunists who wants to follow a party because of their businesses. So these people, categories of groups of people, are the ones who are with serious alliance with the NDC and the MPP. And that is why you see that over the years, they are being sponsored, okay, by businessmen. Now, on the other hand, Hassan Ayariga and the APC, why is it that I'm not joining these two parties? I'm not joining them because of their history, their leadership style, their corruption, the level of corruption, the level of deceptiveness against the Ghanaian citizen. One must have a mindset that is different from what they have. I believe that in order to change Ghana and build this country, that is why my policy number one is change of mindset and attitude. That's my first policy. That concept, that attitude must be changed, that leadership style. A leader must be transparent, unique, credible, and honest. Now, do we have that kind of leadership style in the NDC or in the MPP? We don't. That is why I am proposing change of mindset and the role of leaders and the attitude of leaders. We must be transparent to our followers, and we must be able to interact with them periodically to tell them where we are as a nation, what we have as a country, what we intend to do with the resources we have, how we intend to build this country. No political leader is willing to do that besides making promises. The two parties just make promises to Ghanaians. I promise I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do it. Promises have failed us over the years. And we must begin to look at policies rather than promises. And then the APC, when I was forming the APC, I thought of two things. One is the country. How am I going to change the country? And then number two, how am I going to stabilize the economy?
I'll come back so you talk to me more about the party and the idea behind it and even your person. But I mentioned at the beginning of the show that, well, you came back from Germany. But my audience may not know much about you because, I mean, it's been more than 12 years since I last interviewed you here, and I'm sure maybe on our platform here. For members who are watching us who may not have gotten close to Ayariga for the first time, who are you? What's your background? What's your profession?
I'm a young man. Today,
are you sure you're still a young man? You were a young man then. I'm not sure. Now you're an old man. I came for your 50th birthday party.
Yes, but I'm still young. Yeah. Comparing myself.
I came for your 50th birthday party. I saw senior members of MPP, senior members of NDC at your party.
Yes.
In a very big house.
Yes.
You have money. Germany has money. You should give me show me the way.
It's not about Germany having money. It's about the enabling environment for young people
that they provide
to make money.
So tell me about you. Who are you?
That's what I'm just coming. I say I'm a young man. You say I'm not young. So let's say that I'm a middle man.
Let's take it to Supreme Court. Let's take it to Supreme Court.
So that they will they'll be able to describe my age and who I am. I'm still young.
Okay.
You know, I started politics at a very tender age, following my father and Morigala time.
Oh, so you were political before you went into exile?
Yes. I will give you pictures of myself and Dr. Hillel Imam when I was 16 then.
Oh.
I campaigned for Madam Hawa.
Yakubu.
Yes, I campaigned for Madam Hawa Yakubu before she became an MP. I spoiled almost 5 of my motorbikes campaigning for Madam Hawa at a very tender age.
Wow.
So I grew up in that political. So Hassan Ayariga is 52 years today, not 50 anymore. I'm a businessman, I'm a family man of 5. I have 3 girls, 2 boys. Okay. I live in Accra here. I'm into a lot of businesses. I do haulage, I do import and export, I do banking, I do housing. And I do many things that I don't want to say. Some of them.
But what were you doing in Germany?
At the tender age of 18 in Germany, I was into pizza business.
Pizza?
Yes. I did delivery for pizza. So at that age, I was working for a pizza company called Pavone. By 18, 19, I had made so much money in this business that I decided to buy the shares of that business company. By 19, I bought the whole company.
Wow.
By 19, that company became mine.
From a delivery?
From a delivery guy to shareholder to owner.
That's serious?
Yes.
Where did you get the money from to do that?
From the delivery. When I was doing the pizza delivery in Germany, many blacks were not welcome. I had a different mindset, different attitude. So I will deliver, and then maybe the order is 20 D-mark, Dutch mark at that time.
They were not using the euro
yes,
then.
because of, no, they weren't using the euro then. It was Dutch mark. And because of my demeanor and my posture and my humor towards these white guys, sometimes I deliver for 20 D-mark, and I get 100 D-mark, 80 D-mark for bonus.
They tip you?
Yes. So I made so much money from the tips, to the extent that when they call and I pick the phone, all the time they want me to be talking to them. They're so I mean, there's some kind of close people. People don't talk to each other. They don't like. But I will pick the phone and I'll say, "Hello, Pavone. Guten Tag. This is Pavone. Good afternoon." And then I will ask you, first of all, "Hey, how are you doing?" I got used to knowing their cats, knowing their pets, knowing their family, knowing their names. So I keep asking, "Oh, how is this guy today? How is he doing? Oh, is Ayariga? Oh, they're fine. When are you coming to see us? When are you delivering? Please come and deliver. We want to see you." I became so sociable to the people, and I became so loved. They loved the way I was, and they were requesting. So when I became the owner of the restaurant, at a point in time, I have to leave the restaurant and go and deliver.
Even though you were the owner?
Yes.
And you owned this restaurant around which year?
Then that was 2000.
Oh, so that's 24 years ago.
Yes, by 2000, 1999, 2000, I became the owner of the restaurant. Then I made so much money that I started making import and export. So I thought of any time I deliver, I see a lot of goods out there, people dropping their TVs, people dropping their radio systems, and so many things out there. So I formed a company that we now started collecting those goods from people. So we now decided to put out a number. In case you want to take out your goods, you want to do away with your goods, you call us and we go pick it. So now I had companies that people who were going out with trucks and were packing these used products, used television, used fridges, so I had a big warehouse. Then I started doing containers. So now I could do like 10 containers a month.
Send them where?
And bring them to Ghana.
So you were then coming to sell?
So now import and export. So we started bringing used televisions, used fridges, used iron, used hair dryers, used radio stations, used ties, used bicycles, and a whole lot. So I could do like 10 containers at a go of different varieties, irons, televisions, radios. So Achimota overhead was my warehouse. So that was where I started bringing about 10. I made, under Rollins regime, I made so much money from these used goods. Then I got stores at Achimota just here.
Rollins or Kufuor, because if you owned the pizza company in 2000 and you started the import and export after 2000, that would be Kufuor's time.
Yes,
so
that's Rollins Kufuor's time.
Yeah.
Now I started the business in Rollins time, then to Kufuor's era.
Okay.
So that era, you go to the port, I was so popular. Just a young man who could bring like 10 containers at a go. And when I come with one container, before selling that container, when I open the container before coming, people have already paid for the goods.
So you have a ready market?
Yes, I have a ready market, waiting for them too. So Abosunkai boys will come and take engines. I could buy like 40 cars and piece them and bring in 2-3 containers.
As spare parts?
As spare parts. So I made a lot of money doing that business, import and export. So,
wow, so business was good for you in general.
Very.
Would you recommend?
So I opened restaurants in Ghana. So if you go to Dankwa Circle, I was the owner of the Egypt Air. I don't know whether you know Egypt Air. Under the Dankwa Circle, Egypt Air.
Yes,
the downstairs Hello Restaurant was mine.
Hello Restaurant.
Hello Restaurant. If you go to Teshi, the bowling center, Harbin, there was a big Chinese restaurant, huge, over 500 to 700 people capacity.
It was for you?
It take about 1,000 capacity, was mine. So we're doing parties.
Which years did you open the restaurant at Dankwa?
2006. The
Dankwa Circle
yes.
and the Teshi one?
Yes.
Okay, so you were doing other businesses in Ghana?
2006. So I started. Then I started now importing trucks. I'm the first guy who started bringing Mercedes trucks, these huge trucks. So I started now supplying to Ghana Leasing and Africa Leasing. So Ghana Leasing will order like 10, 15, 20 trucks. Benz trucks. Head. The
head.
I met John Mahama, who was also coming to the leasing company to talk for Ibrahim, because Ibrahim too was buying trucks from them. So I could lease trucks and they could also supply to those people.
But while you were doing all of this, you were also still in Germany?
Yes, I was still in Germany.
At what time did you decide to come back home to Ghana?
When I met my wife.
Okay.
When I met my wife.
She's Ghanaian?
She's Ghanaian. She's half Ghanaian and the mother is from UK. So when I met my wife, then I fell in love with my wife. Then I decided that no, this is the woman that I can. She didn't want us to live in Germany or go to the US and live in Germany. She just liked that. She liked Ghana. So I decided to start moving
Back to Ghana.
Back to Ghana. So love brought me.
Something must bring a man home.
Kill a man.
So something has brought you. What would you say to a young man watching us who wants to jackpot? There are so many people who want to jackpot, and jackpot means running away to abroad to go and make money. Based on all the money you've made, would you encourage people to also go and make money?
I think that we are living in a global world where globalization has taken over the trend of businesses and all sort of things. Going abroad today will not be advised for any young man to go. We can sit in Ghana here today, and our time was different. This time is totally different.
Anyone watching you would say, no, you are not being fair. You went to make it and you don't want him to go and enjoy.
It's the situation and the dynamics at that time and the years. Today, that time it was very difficult for somebody to get a visa to travel abroad. Today, you can walk into any of the embassies and apply and get a visa.
Are you sure? It's difficult, though.
Which of the embassies?
All of them. You don't see the queues.
I see the queues, but they are entitled to it.
Entitled is
yes.
Someone's country.
And when I become president, I have a policy that even when you don't get your visa, the embassy must refund 50% of whatever you employ. And they must give you a unique reason, not just a paper to say you are denied. No, we can't accept that in a country like this. You are here to give visas to our citizens to travel to your country and come back. We are not here for you to be denying them visas without reason, just by telling them that we've denied you visa, apply again. There must be a reason, a written reason for your refusal, unique. And beside that, you have to get 50% of the money you pay. And beside that, visa fees must be charged according to the income of Ghanaian citizens, salaries of Ghanaian citizens.
It shouldn't be just anybody. Everybody should pay the same thing.
No. You cannot just be telling them to pay $100. What is the state of the salaries of Ghanaian citizens? So we have to look at it. Because you are working in Ghana, you are not working in the US. So you cannot be taking $100, that which Ghanaian citizens' salary is not up to $100. It doesn't make sense. And you cannot be quoting it in dollars. Every embassy must quote the visa fees in series. So
people should not be trying to run away from the country. Not that even when things are hard.
Under my leadership, things will not be hard.
But currently, things are hard.
Yes, currently, even the nurses and doctors are running out of this country. I understand. But then, when we run, who is going to build our country?
You will stay and build. They will go and come.
I do not want to encourage any Ghanaian citizen to run out of this country under this current hardship. All I will encourage is to vote them out and vote a leader that can build this country. And that is why my second policy now comes in, Ghana and Ghanaians first.
Very well.
With our discussions, I'll be rolling out the policies that I tell you.
I'm going to come there now. Face to Face is a show. This is Channel 1 Television. My name is Hassan Ayariga. My guest is Hassan Ayariga of the APC. He's a presidential candidate. We're going to hear from him now when we come back about his party's policies going into the election, what he plans to do. Please stay with us. Yeah, welcome back. This is Face to Face on Channel 1 Television. My name is Hassan Ayariga. My guest is Hassan Ayariga, presidential candidate representing the APC. Why do you want to be president?
Good. Simple question. To build a country that will give every Ghanaian the opportunity to become independent. To build a country that we can manage our own resources, transform our country, change the narratives, and build a nation that we are aware of and proud of. To build a society that is committed in building this country devoid of begging, borrowing, and dependency. We have what it takes to change the future of this country, that we can put Ghana on a different level, a level where we can compete with our counterparts in Europe, in the US. To build a society that is proud of itself, that devoid of corruption, mismanagement, and wastage. And to build a nation that other nations will be proud of and value it and do business with.
How would you do these things that you've mentioned?
Very simple. These are the policies I intend to roll, not promises. That the Ghanaians must first believe in themselves and change their mindset. That's the policy number one. And be proud of themselves and believe that nobody, like you said, We are running out of this country. Nobody is coming to build this country. We must stay and work together and transform our country with that mindset of change, that mindset of transparency, that mindset of leadership, that mindset of together and the patriotism that every country has built its own, and their leaders stood for it. Even when they wage war against others, they remained in their country and stayed in their country and believed in their country first. And that is the policy number 2, Ghana and Ghanaians first. That we must begin to build the Ghanaian economy using local content. We must begin to believe in ourselves, that whatever is in Ghana belongs to us and not for foreigners. We are losing everything, Mr. Omaro. Our resources in the hands of foreigners. Our mining is in the hands of foreigners. Our lands have been taken over by foreigners. Our sovereignty is being controlled by foreigners. And we as a country, we are becoming the 21st century slaves. Like Nkrumah said, neo-colonialism. We are being colonized again.
So what, you want to nationalize?
I want to have a nationalistic state.
But if the foreigners own these companies,
and that is why I want to change the concept that every Ghanaian citizen must be the owner and direct owner of this country. So the Ghanaians come first in everything.
You went to Germany. You were allowed to own a company there.
I was allowed to own a company, but I'm not taking over the country. Foreigners have not taken over the country.
Yeah, but imagine if you owned a company, somebody from Nigeria owned a company too, another one from Ethiopia owns a company in Germany. That means you're owning the companies and then essentially you're owning the country. Why are you benefiting from that in one country and asking that should not happen in your country?
Because I build different laws and regulations in my country. So every country must have its own regulations and laws. And after running around and roaming the whole country, I see that we have lost our sovereignty. We are losing everything. I see that everything that belongs to Ghana has been owned, is now owned by foreigners. Where is the content, the local content? What are we doing as citizens? The only thing left for us is the presidency. And sooner or later, because we believe in monetization of political affairs, sooner or later, the foreigners will get some of their own, one of theirs, to run for president in the Republic of Ghana, and we'll lose it. Today, the presidency is no more valued as it used to be. The presidency has been reduced to politics of money than politics of ideas. So people now who has money can win the presidency of this country.
But you have money. How
I'm coming now. We are voting for people with more money than more brains. That is where we have gotten to. And it's sad that we are almost losing the presidency. That value, that, what do you say, that, I need a word to use for that presidency that it has now been reduced to nothing. It's no more that the presidency we used to value. You understand? Look at the caliber. Look at the caliber of people who are running for president today. Mm-hmm. Not to disgrace anybody, not to undermine anybody.
Are they better or worse?
I've gone through this game for the past 12 years. I have not seen a leader who is more running for this president, more of a patriotic citizen who wants to change this country than who wants to do business. So the office now has been turned to a business center. So people are running to do business with the office, to become popular, to become, to rip this country off.
You mentioned the people running for president. There are 13 of you. Are you saying that the caliber of the 13 people isn't impressive?
The president, let's take it one after the other.
Yes.
President Akufo-Addo.
He's no more on the ticket.
He's no more, I'm telling you.
Yes.
His government is running for president, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
His party.
My big brother, Bawumia. Now look at it. What have they done that they deserve a second chance? The cedi is the worst performing currency in the world. Prices of goods and services have gone high astronomically. Ghanaian salary workers cannot afford 3 square meals. Rent is not affordable. Ghanaians cannot pay rent. Foodstuff in the market, no Ghanaian can afford. Salaries of workers have not been increased. Are you with me? Electricity rates are the highest in the history of Ghana and even any part of the world. Water is a big problem to access. Now, these are standards commodities. These are basic life that every Ghanaian can afford. This, we cannot.
So that's...
We're not even talking about building castles in there. We are talking about the basics.
So that's your verdict on Bawumia. What's your verdict?
My verdict on both.
What's your verdict on John Mahama?
The same, because they are the same caliber of people. Bawumia and John Mahama are on the same table. One track, just two different drivers. 67 years, we have $67 billion debt. 76 billion, not 67. 67 years of independent Moro, we are owing 76 billion as debt stock. And look at our communities, look at our roads. We can pay interest on that. As a businessman, as I sit here, if I borrow money, I'm borrowing money to expand my business and be able to pay profit. Ghana borrows money to squander, to mismanage, to corruption. So what kind of leaders are you talking about? What kind of leaders? Let's put them and audit each party.
So those are two. You have other persons on the ticket. You have a very young man, and you like young people. You have Cheddar on the ballot with you. You have...
Cheddar says he's not a politician, he's a businessman. You understand?
Is that bad?
I don't think it's bad, but the fact of the matter is that I don't see Cheddar with any policy that can change this country.
Alan Chamantin is there. He says that he has experience. He will deliver.
Alan, one way or the other, I do not want to use certain words, but I'll classify him as the class of C and the class of G. What is that? If you understand those words.
No, C and G.
Yes.
Which one? Which grading is that? Is that BC grading, WASI grading, or
it's a political term grading? So when you are able to look at the words C or G, is the reason why he's running for presidency, because he's been part of the government that had failed. Okay, and because he anticipated that he was not going to win the flag-bearership race, he decided to withdraw and form his movement. And I asked, what is different between Alan? If the MPP is bad, Alan is bad.
So he cannot wash himself out of...
Yes, he was part of it. If the MPP is good, Alan is good. So Alan has no message. His message is zero. He can... And all these people following him, after 2024 election, Alan is gone. Because it's a movement. And after 2024 election, that movement has no name. Aside
yourself, whom you believe is a very good candidate, is any of the 13 that you believe is someone worthy of being president?
What are the ideas?
So you still have Ekiadonko is there, Akpalu is there. There are independent people also running. I'm not sure, the name is not coming, but 13 people, that's a lot. You have your own party friends, CPP. You have Nana Kuma on the run. She's from your stock. Unfortunately for you, your former party, Bernard Mona, couldn't make it. I don't know if you're happy or you're sad. Because your party, the party you came out...
We started with this party long ago. You saw the effort I put in that party.
Yes.
And after I left the party for that reason. They're not being serious. So I've been vindicated.
You've been vindicated. Let's talk about how you can fix the economy. You kept talking about the economy. So the CD is a big problem for us. If you became president, what would you do to fix the CD?
Now, you see, I gave you two policies. Policy number one was change of mindset. Policy number two of Ghana and Ghanaians first. Policy number three is a national database. It's a national data system or base, whatever.
You're copying Bawumia.
Bawumia.
National data system.
I started this thing before Bawumia even became Flagbearer.
He's a digital man.
He's not a digital man. He picked it on my manifesto. Go and look at my manifesto 2016-2020. It is called e-governance, and digitalization is under it. You see, the problem is that most of these media houses do not listen to the minority political parties and their policies. 24-hour economy. I started it in 2016 and 2020. It's in my manifesto. And I have a copy of the manifesto, a hard copy, and I can show you. But when the bigger parties go there and pick one policy, you propagate it without listening. Now, let me table my policies for you up to the CD. Just give me 5 minutes.
Go ahead.
Good. So first policy, change of mindset. Second policy, Ghana and Ghanaians first. Third policy, a national data system. A national data system is not what Bawumia is promising you, Ghana card. No. A national data system is a unique infrastructure we are building to have data of every Ghanaian, right from your bio, your facial recognition, your fingerprint. Then we move to your properties, your houses, your land, your cars, everything that you have, we have the registration of it. So all your car number plates will be captured. The number of houses you have in Ghana will be picked wherever they are. We have their this. Then we come to now your family, your wife, your children. Every child of yours data will be captured into the data system. Your wife, if you have 2 or 3, all of them will be captured. Then we now come to your resources, your accounts, all your bank accounts, how much you take, the salary you have, where you work will be taken, including your blood sample. So this is serious data system. This is not the one you are talking about. So this is a different framework of altogether data system. Now with this data, every other institution will derive its information from it to be able to build its institutions. So DVLA will get the information from that data system. Ghana card, if you want to do a Ghana card, you now get a unique Ghana card. Not the one we have, we'll get immigrations. When you come into Ghana, they key into your system, they know whether you are Ghanaian or you're not. Wherever you are in this country, we know. National security, they have your information. The police, I'm giving one car to 2 policemen. They have a computer in there, and everybody's information and detail is captured. Now, with this national data system, it now gives me a perfect picture of Ghanaian. I know everybody in Ghana. You might not know, but I know you. So the little child that is born in Bunkuru early this morning, his data will be captured and put inside. The old man who died in Kologungu this night, we will know that the old man is dead. So every information of everybody anywhere in Ghana, I have it.
But you haven't told me how this would fix the CD's decline.
Fixing the CD is so simple.
How?
1, a country that do not produce and manufacture and industrialize will not be able to become economically independent. So that country is always importing. And when you import more than you export, your city is going to depreciate drastically. When you do not produce, you do not manufacture, your city is going to reduce. Now, what happened in this country is that our businessmen and women are producing at a very high cost, manufacturing at a very high cost. Okay, so they are importing everything. And we are just a dependent nation.
So will you stop imports?
So, you see, if you had allowed me 3 minutes, I would have gotten to where the city is.
I gave you 5 minutes.
My policies are unique. I am building policies. So from the national database, the next policy would have a national development plan. So from the data, we now plan. So when we plan, we now use the data to be able to plan. We know those who have homes, those who are not living in homes, those who are students, those who are not working, and those who are in the hospital. Every data is there. So we now begin to plan using the deficits. We know the deficit in health. We know the deficit in agriculture, food security, schools, and everything. So this data system helps us to build the plan. We keep talking about a national development plan that has never been worked on for years. We need a national development plan that we can start working today. So from the national development plan, we move to a production, manufacturing, and industrial hub. Now, Ghana will now begin to produce, to consume, because we import everything. We spend about $1.2 billion importing rice every year. Meanwhile, we can farm rice. We spend over $800 million importing oil. Meanwhile, we can produce oil using coconut, granite, shea butter, soya bean, palm oil. Yes, we are importing oil. We're talking about job creation. And the city is depreciating every day as we import. Now, when we begin to have a production, manufacturing, we'll be producing cars here. We'll be assembling and manufacturing cars here. We'll begin to...
Akufo-Addo is already doing that. He said he was going to change the country from taxation to production.
Yes, but it's...
They have assembly plants in this country. All of these things they've done, but we still don't see the CD...
When we talk about assembling plant, it's not 20, 30 cars we are talking about. When we talk about production, we are producing to consume. We import everything. So Ghana will stop the import.
So I'm just saying that it was
I'm coming to your CD. I just
delivered.
come to your CD right now. So the manufacturing production hub, Ghana will now be working 24 hours around the clock. This is my region of the 24-hour. Because when you turn that country into a production manufacturing nation, what it means is that we are going to have an economic lockdown. I'm going to lock down this economy for 1 year. Nobody is importing anything anymore. So from my leadership, from the first day I become president, the next year, Ghana is going to experience what is called economic lockdown. What is an economic lockdown? We import to consume. We import to wear. We import to survive. we are going to lock down this economy and no importation. So right now, we have to change our consumption pattern to produce what we eat and eat what we produce. We have to change our standard of living, the style. We have to begin to manufacture our own clothing. We have to live in a country that no other country exists. So the purpose of the economic lockdown is to make us economically independent and take out of the dependency, grow our economy, stabilize our city, increase our productivity, increase job creation, and revolve this country to become the best that we are looking for. Because we cannot be dependent on other nations to survive as a country. 67 years down the lane, we have nothing to show the world. So the economic lockdown will now turn Ghana into a 24-hour economy, where Ghanaians, manufacturing companies who work 8 hours in the morning, production companies work 8 hours in the evening, and industries work 8 hours in the evening.
So you import petrol.
So we have a 24-hour economy, where 3-shift system. With this, we need to get more labor force, because the labor force will be too small to be able to run a 24-hour economy. Are you getting it? So Ghanaians now will have to begin to work 2 times a day. Twice a day. So you can probably work shifts in the morning and work in the evening. This is the kind of economy I want to build, so that we stabilize our city. Our city is suffering because we are importing. But when we begin to export, after 1 year of the lockdown, we'll have enough food security, enough oil to export. So we are also introducing our food stuff to the world. So people will now begin to see what we can use yam to do. We'll now put yam on the international market, and Ghanaians and foreigners will begin to consume yam. They'll begin to consume our parboiled rice that we are importing, this local, Chinese rice, rubber rice. We can bring out parboiled rice, the best rice in the world. But we are not. Vegetables. We can export vegetables, cabbage. We can export mangoes. We can export pineapples and all that in large quantities.
I asked you about this, your 1 year lockdown. What happens to fuel? We produce petrol
we have,
but it's not enough.
Yeah, but that is why we need to look. The economic lockdown is a change of mindset that will make Ghanaians now believe that there's no country. We are here in this room. There's no other room anymore. How do we survive? How do we get fuel? And that is why I said 1 year will be given the opportunity for us to import whatever we want, even if it is raw materials, to be able to lock down and begin to produce. So with the fueling, we have refineries. We have to put them into use, good use. We have crude. So we take our crude and refine it in this country. Why do we have to import? We look at this ideology of the Ghanaian mindset. You have crude. You take the crude and you send it outside. They go there, refine it. You go back there and buy the finished product and come. Who does that?
This is Face to Face on Channel 1 Television. My guest is Hassan Ayariga. When we come back, there's this. So he's talked about national database. The voter register has been a subject of debate between the political party actors at the Electoral Commission. There's a claim that the smaller parties have been playing football on behalf of the two parties. I asked him if it is true that he belongs to or he's an appendage of any of the two big parties, and what he makes of the Electoral Commission's plan ahead of the election. Please stay with us. You're welcome back. This is Face to Face. My guest is the leader of the APC, Hassan Ayariga. So the things you're saying, we've heard them before, and they have not materialized. Why should we believe you? You said you're not a politician of promise.
But I'm not making any promise. No, these are not promises. These are policies.
Yeah, policy promises.
These are not promises. These are policies. Policies is process, things you do.
Yeah, but you're promising policies.
I'm not promising policies. I am telling you that these are the policies we are going to use to build our country.
Yeah, so that's
I don't mind even if I don't become president and somebody becomes so and say, Ayariga, please come and help us build this country. I don't have a problem with that. Now let's continue. Let's continue with a few of my policies. So from the national, from the 24-hour economy, you now realize
which
that
you have just collected right now. You told me it's for you.
Yes, it's mine.
Go
and look in the if the NDC adapts it, it's fine. It's good. Because many of my policies, the MPP, you have adapted them. Special prosecutor, they did adapt it.
Okay.
I don't have a problem. Digitalization, they did. They are still in it, but I don't have a... Digitalization is not a policy. It's under my policy called e-governance. So that's where digitalization comes in. Okay. So under e-governance, there's a lot. A framework of a national data system. The national data system is the digitalization. Are you get what I'm saying? That is why I have 7 pillars in building this Ghana: modernization, nationalization, digitalization, commercialization, industrialization, and globalization.
Okay.
These are the policies. Now, from the national data system to the 24-hour economy, the most important thing is one: welfare of the citizens. Do you realize that Ghanaian citizens under Act 2003-651, Labor Act 2003-651, the minimum wage, daily wage is 18 cedis, 99 pesos. Who survives with 18 cedis, 99 pesos?
That's what we can afford.
That is what you can afford, but that is not what I want to pay. A laborer.
But that's what the capacity
of
the
laborer
state is.
in Ghana takes 100 cedis a day. A mason takes 150. So how can you give somebody 18 cedis, 99 to survive? So I will change that act, amend that act to make it 100 cedis to 300, 150 to 300 Ghana, the Labor Act. And then minimum wage for salary every month, every Ghanaian salary will be 5,000 Ghana cedis. Minimum. Now, what is the most important thing in Ghanaian society? Their salaries. How do they live? How do they survive? It's a problem. You see, when you take your salary, Mr. Sander, today, within 1 week, the salary is gone. It becomes very difficult for you to survive for the next 3 weeks. That is why people are corrupt. That is why people steal. That is why people cannot be trusted. That's why workers become vulnerable. They cannot survive. Now, the policy I want to introduce is called bi-weekly salary structure. Bi-weekly salary structure means that when I become president, no Ghanaian citizen will take salary every month. You'll be taking your salary every 2 weeks. So from now, all Ghanaians should know that when I'm president, nobody is taking 1 month's salary. Your salary will be every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, you get your 5,000. Or you get 10,000, depending on your salary structure. So you are able to cushion yourself. After the first week, you survive. Now, the other policy that I intend to roll is the most difficult one that Ghanaians are suffering with, ECG. I am going to give what is called flat rate. Flat rate for ECG, flat rate for water. So your building here, we're paying 500 Ghana cedis every month. A one-story building, we're paying 200 Ghana cedis every month. A compound house, we're paying 200 Ghana cedis every month. A standard 2 bedrooms will be paying 100 Ghana cedis every month. A 3 bedroom to 4 bedroom will be paying 150 Ghana cedis every month. Kiosks, saloons, barbering shop, they'll be paying 50 Ghana cedis every month. They won't pay more than that. 50 Ghana cedis. It's
regardless of how much they consume.
Regardless of how much they consume. Now, let me tell you one thing. I've done the statistics. There was a time I said that they should sell Ghana ECG to me. I don't know whether you saw that story. The statistics is that the ECG projected income for every month is $100 million. Currently, they are in deficit. They are getting $46 million every month. And they are saying that they are complaining that over $60 million they can't get. Now look at this. We have more than 20 million homes in Ghana. 20 million homes. Let's say that the flat rate of every house, regardless of the size of the house, 20 million homes. Let us put them story building this and say 200 Ghana cedis for each house, for the 20 million homes. Multiply 20 million homes by 200 Ghana cedis. Divided by 15, you'll be getting $264 million.
Every month.
Every month. Number two, multiply the shops, put containers, put barbering shops, put saloons to about 10 million. There are many of them, and they're paying 50 Ghana cedis. Multiply it by 10 million. You'll be getting almost 60 to 70 million dollars every month. Now you have offices, you have companies, huge, huge companies. There are too many in Ghana. So at the end of the day, the flat rate that I'm bringing for ECG and water will get ECG $1 billion every month without anybody suffering to pay.
Well, so that is your plan. We need to go, but before you are elected, you need a credible register. Do you find the current voter register credible? The NDC raised issues. You went to IPAC, and I think the issue is dead.
I think that the NDC did a good job by raising the issues of the anomalies in the voter register. I got the opportunity to tell them the truth, whether they like it or not. As for me, there's one thing about me nobody can take away from me. You can say whatever you want to say, I don't care. But when I'm telling you the truth, I do it with statistics, and I say it with reasons, and I say it with confidence. Now look at this. The voter register. When they started the compilation of the voter register, I have witnessed these two major political parties bring in foreigners from Togo, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, and other neighboring countries to come and register as Ghanaians and become Ghanaian voters. That's number one. Number two, I have witnessed NDC and MPP going to the schools, bringing young boys who are less than 18 and by force making them, guaranteeing for them to become 18 and register.
So they are the ones spoiling the register.
Thank you. You see where I'm coming? Now, you're not only spoiling the register, you are spoiling the future of the young boys. My son here is just 18, 19. When he was 16, he was looking like this. He was same huge like this. Now, if you make him register to get a voter ID card that says he's 20, he's 18, and now his school's documents and results and transcript, he's 16. Which one is he going to use? You've changed the identity of the young man.
Fraud.
Fraud. Now you do all this, and you allow the register to go, and you tell me you want a credible voter register.
You can't get it.
You can't get it.
So,
number one, that's number one.
We have to go now. But is Hassan Ayariga on the side of NDC or MPP?
Me? I am the side of APC and Ghanaians.
Not NDC, not MPP.
NDC is not.
You are not an appendage of any
How
of those.
can I be an appendage?
That's the allegation against you smaller parties. Are you go and collect no curfew and then
no curfew?
It's not.
Who is in the NDC can give me no curfew?
They can't give you.
Now let me tell you another thing that the NDC is worried about.
We need to go.
NDC is saying that the the EC is going to reach the election for the NPP. I want to be sincere with you and honest with you and Ghanaians. If they are watching this, watch. NDC is joking. They are joking. They are not serious. Look, in 2020, John Mahama put Charlotte Osei there. John Mahama was then president. If any president can change the mind of any EC, let them listen very well. If any president has the authority and the power to change and direct the EC to do things, then John Mahama would have done that in 2016.
So it cannot happen
with Charlotte Osei, because he put us. Why did he lose that election? He lost that election in 2020. Why?
So they shouldn't be.
So if an EC can make somebody or could make one, then President Mahama would have been president in 2016. So let them take that and put it in their mind. They should go back to the grassroots and campaign well, make sure that their votes are counted properly, train polling agent properly, and not sit down and be running and making demonstrations and unnecessary stuff.
They should stop.
Win the election at the polling station, and nobody can take it away from you.
Very well.
But when you sit down and say, Hassan Ayariga is helping the EC, I'm not talking for EC. I am advising you.
Very well.
If you know, no. If you don't know, no. Madam Jean Mensa cannot make Bawumia president. No, she cannot. Go to the polls and make yourself president, like I am doing.
Very well. I wish you all the best. I wish I could speak German so that I would say one or two things.
Dankeschön.
How do I say?
Dankeschön.
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 Dankeschön. Oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
How do I respond?
Oh, bitte.
Bitte. Okay, bitte. Thank you so much.
Dankeschön.
Bitte. So that's Hassan Ayariga of the APC. Please go out and vote on December 7. Whoever convinces you, vote for them. My name is Umaru Sandamadu. Thank you for joining us on Face to Face.